I usually don't run in maximalist running shoes like this one, but the Fresh Foam is a different story. What's up, rabbits? Welcome back to another video. This is the New Balance Fresh Foam 1080 version 11. It's quite maximal. It's a category 2 shoe according to its minimal index, meaning that it has quite a lot of cushion, arch support and a heel to toe drop. But unlike many other shoes in this category, the Fresh Foam earned its spot in my running shoe rotation. I've used this shoe consistently for over a year now, and there are certain types of run where I think this shoe performs great and above average, and then there are other types of run where I think it does a terrible job and is really below average. So if I had to compare this shoe to something in the world, it would be a cruise ship, and I'm going to reveal in this video why I think that. So let's jump straight in and start with the negatives, and the first one is its price. So just like cruises, these shoes have a hefty price tag. Here in Portugal they come at about 170 to 180 euros. If you don't get it with a discount, 180 euros for a shoe. I mean, this is not some piece of tech here, okay? This is just a damn shoe. But I still think it's worth its price, as I'm going to reveal later in this video. The second con is it's very slippery. It's really hard to stop in this shoe. So just like a cruise ship, once it's left the harbor, it's going to take a long time for the cruise ship to sit still. And I'm not just saying that for the cruise ship analogy. I actually made, weirdly enough, a whole video about how slippery this shoe is. You can check it out here. It's really just me slippy sliding through Lisbon, and that really proves my point. And if you look at the profile of this shoe, it really makes sense. There's not a lot of grip and it's really just quite a flat surface here. So just be careful if you're running down a hill and there are some wet surfaces, it's very slippery. Con number 3 is it's unstable. This shoe is very wobbly and you might have to work on some new balance skills if you're getting this shoe. You can see it here in the heel cup. It's very soft material and just doesn't give you a lot of support. On top of that, the upper is extremely stretchy, which has some good points. I will reveal that later in the video. But if you want stability and sturdiness, this is not what I recommend. For anything like hill sessions, my heel always comes out. If I'm cutting corners at a fast speed, I almost slid out of the shoe a couple times just because it's so unstable. So for these kind of things, this shoe just doesn't perform very well. And it's the same with a cruise ship. A cruise ship is not designed to stop and go. It's not designed to cut corners, okay? It's designed to go straight for a long time at a comfortable pace. And that's exactly what this shoe does very, very well. And that brings us to the pros. And pro number 1 is it's extremely comfortable. So you pay a lot of money for cruises, but what you get is a very comfortable ride over the vast distances of the ocean. And this shoe is very similar in that regard. I absolutely love it for my easy-paced recovery runs or long runs. I took it out for over 70 kilometers, and I have to say, after the run, my feet were really fine. It's not just the comfortable Fresh Foam that's just a very squishy and responsive midsole, it's also the upper. I feel like the upper is thin where it needs to be, like in the front of the foot, and it is a bit thicker where it also needs to be thicker, which is around the trunk of your foot. And overall, I think it's the most comfortable running shoe I've ever worn. So definitely a big pro. Pro number 2 is the fun of the ride. So this Fresh Foam midsole is not just comfortable, it creates a great flow in your stride. It's a little bit difficult to describe it, but it just feels like it wants to push you forward when you run. I really feel like I could go forever with these babies on my feet. And the last pro is customization. Now this has nothing to do with the cruise ship, but I had to bring it up because it makes a world of difference for me personally. You can choose the width of this shoe when you're buying it. This was part of the reason why I usually never run in maximalist running shoes. If you look at my feet, I know they're not very pretty, but this is the natural amount of space that I need, okay? So if I put on a traditional maximalist running shoe, you quickly see that the toe box will be constraining. Okay, and this is especially important for me on longer runs. I don't want to have my feet cramped into a shoe. And the fact that you can choose the width of these shoes was a very important factor for me. And I honestly think that if you couldn't choose the width, I would have never bought these shoes in the first place. So even though these shoes are expensive, they're terrible on hill sessions, on interval sessions, and for cutting corners, they are really great at what they were designed to do, which is cruising for a long time very comfortably and with a great underfoot experience and flow. I hope this helped, and I see you in the next video. Peace.